Welcome back to Great Day. We just did a segment on honoring past loved ones. Our next guests are doing that by supporting the fight against cancer. When doctors told trailblazer and realtor Nancy Owens nothing else could be done to treat her third bout with breast cancer, friends refused to believe it. They set up prayer vigils and took her to see every doctor they could. Nancy eventually lost her battle, but that's when it came to light that something else actually still could be done. After her service, friends gathered to create the Nancy Owens Breast Cancer Foundation, funding critical research in the fight against breast cancer. Joining us with how you can help and exciting news about how millions can one day benefit are Amy Bernstein and Terry Guerra. Both were among Nancy Owens' breast cancer battle warriors. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're about to tear up.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, you're so welcome. But this is such a, the reason why I want to do this story is that it's such an example of, for many years, breast cancer was this thing that was hush-hush, nobody really talked about it. And then women got angry. And there were groups that popped up across the country. One of the biggest ones, of course, is the Komen Foundation, right?
Yes.
Popped up around the country saying, we can do something about this and we're going to be loud and proud about talking about it, right? Let's start with who Nancy Owens was. She was a trailblazer.
She was a total trailblazer. First of all, I love loud and proud. Yeah. That's such a great phrase. Nancy Owens was probably, I think Terry would agree, was probably the most beautiful person inside and out, but she was a real legend and a real icon in the real estate industry.
Yeah. So she came here as an interior designer,
yes,
but which a lot of women did, right? A lot of women did the decorating and designing,
yes,
which is a great profession, but they didn't necessarily step into the actual selling of the home. Women, in fact, in the 70s, weren't taken as seriously, right?
Absolutely. So Nancy was one of those that when she got into the industry, she was an agent, but really wasn't sure that she could really make it in the real estate industry. And not only did she make it, but she made it big and then formed her own agency as well.
Yeah, all right. She gets diagnosed with cancer and she had 3 bouts with it.
Yes.
And you walked her through a lot of those moments.
You know, on the 3rd bout of cancer, we weren't really sure what was wrong with her. She thought she was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. Mm-hmm. So the doctor said to take a little bit of time off of her stressful job as a real estate broker and just take some R&R, and we did. And sometimes on those trips, we would go, and you could just tell it was a lot more than just irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah.
And so when we came home, somebody gave her husband a name that said, go see this person, and we went there, and they within 5 minutes said, it's not irritable bowel syndrome. Your cancer has
which
come back.
Which spoke to the importance of getting a second opinion or a third opinion if you need to. And Terry, you worked with Nancy as well.
I did. And through Nancy, I met Amy Bernstein. And watching their friendship through the years was just amazing. They were inseparable, and they loved each other very, very much.
Yeah, you know, speaking of the power of women, I mentioned in the introduction there that y'all got up and started fighting alongside her and doing things like the prayer vigils.
Yes.
And then you found other women coming into the circle.
We did. I remember being over at your house, Amy, and we would record these prayer vigils and send them to Nancy so she could watch them. And we would record prayers and good wishes, and we would send them to her every day so she could sit and listen to them. So we really tried to lift her up and do whatever we could.
Yeah, and whatever you could. Amy, there's several stories that you've shared with me about this journey, and one of them was it would just make you so mad if a doctor didn't have good bedside manner.
It's exactly right. The first doctor that we saw just kind of crossed his legs and said, you're terminal and there's nothing we can do about it. And Nancy is a lot more has much more political etiquette than I do, and I was just like, that is crazy, we're out of here, we're gonna find somebody that's gonna cure this, and she just kind of wiped her eyes and said, thank you very much, and sorry for my friend. Yeah. And so we went to somebody else that Nancy had seen originally with her first bout of breast cancer, and we walked into her office, and there were angels everywhere, and she sat both of us down and Nancy's husband down, the 3 of us, and said, you know, you're likely not going to win this battle, but Nancy was her and her husband were big horse people, and she said, we're going to ride every horse in the stable until the horse can't run anymore. And we will continue to ride and ride until there's no more riding to do. And you know, we just both said, if you're going to be terminal, then you know, there's a way to tell you, and there's a way to put up the fight if you want to fight, which she certainly did, in a just beautiful way that made it sound a lot better.
And like she might not win that battle, but her friends were determined to win the war.
Yes.
And so her service happened to fall on the day of 9/11.
Oh, yes.
And despite that, it was standing room only.
It was amazing. I remember that I was looking over my notes, and I think, Terry, it may have been you that called me and said, have you looked on the news?
I did.
Yes, and it was 9/11, and so we said, we're moving forward. We're having this funeral, and really, we didn't think anybody would leave their home, much less their TV set that day. And literally, there was standing room only at that funeral service for Nancy. She was just one of those people that no matter what was going on in the world, you were going to be there for her send-off.
Yeah. And shortly after, the Nancy Owens Breast Cancer Foundation was established. And, you know, there's all kinds of groups, as I mentioned earlier, across the country that kind of make up this patchwork quilt of coming up one day with the cure to breast cancer. And let's just be real about what that's accomplished over the decades, is that we now have a nearly 100% cure rate if caught early. So education's a big piece of this. Obviously, what's also a big piece of this is the treatment. What your organization does is raises money to help those who are in research for things. So that's what the luncheon will benefit. So Terry, tell us about the luncheon, and then the people who will get the awards of this luncheon for what they're doing with it.
Well, our foundation funds breast cancer research. So we follow 3 different projects with MD Anderson, and they're working on a vaccine prevention. Baylor College of Medicine, they are working on the reoccurrence of breast cancer and how to stop that. And then Methodist, the nanotechnology department, is working on the nano device that goes directly into the tumor, so the drugs go to the tumor and not all over the body.
You don't have the collateral damage, because oftentimes other tissue can be, hearts can be damaged, all that type of stuff, and so this way it's directly to your point.
Exactly, and federal funding has been cut for these research projects drastically over the years. So our foundation is so important to fund these research projects. And what we do, we don't let the research projects fund the administrative costs. It goes straight to the research, to the doctors. And we are 100% volunteer organization, so we don't have salaries or administrative costs ourselves. So every dollar we raise, we give back to the breast cancer research.
And the luncheon's so amazing because it, kind of naturally you have a lot of realtors there. You don't have to be a realtor, but they kind of created that herd, right? And then also you'll have so many people there who say, oh yeah, their cure date was, because there are a lot of women in the room who've already gone through it, which is nice for other women who are in the middle of it to see that you can survive this and you can thrive after this. Your luncheon speaker is Dr. Matt Eisman. A lot of people may recognize him. He is a stand-up comedian, but he started out following his dad's footsteps to be a doctor. And in the middle of residency, he just kind of said, you know what, I don't like this. I would like to be a comedian. Took off for LA to pursue stand-up comedy. We know him as the host of American Ninja Warrior and Celebrity Apprentice Season 8. But he also has had that fight with cancer, a different type of cancer, but understands that journey.
Absolutely. He's very inspiring and so upbeat, and we're so excited to have him.
Oh, I'm super pumped. It's Monday, and we are just so excited for the luncheon, to meet Matt and to hear his story. And we have a great silent auction. Terry is our chair, and she has done amazing work with the foundation. And it just is a very inspirational, powerful day for those that have overcome cancer, for those that are supporting a loved one with cancer. We always say that Nancy did not win her fight against cancer, but one of her goals, had she not beat the disease, was that we would, as her group of friends, raise money for finding a cure so other people didn't have to go through what she did. So we're carrying on a promise, and it feels good every single day.
Yeah, raised over $2 million so far, and we're getting closer and closer. One day you will not have to do this luncheon.
Yes.
That's the goal,
Hallelujah.
right? Yeah, hallelujah.
That's the beauty of
All right.
it. That's the beauty of it.
So cancer took Nancy physically, but invited a fight and got one.
Yes.
And since you all are in the real estate business, I decided if cancer were a home it would be a teardown.
Oh, I love it.
I love that.
I love that.
Those are the
Good
T-shirts.
job.
We're selling those T-shirts.
Yes, I like it.
All right,
Total
ladies,
teardown.
Yeah, thank you so much for picking up
Thank you.
that fight. And like we said, one day we hope that fight is over because we don't need it
Apps
anymore.
from your mouth to God's ears, for sure.
All right. For more
Absolutely.
information on the Nancy Owens Breast Cancer Foundation luncheon and how to help fund critical research, you can log on to nobcf.org. Again, that's nobcf.org.